The Titanic is the most famous shipwreck in history, but what most people know is only the surface, because the real untold details are darker, stranger, and more human than the movie ever showed. This is the Titanic, and what really happened that night. Titanic was built to be the safest ship ever created, a floating palace, the pride of a new century, and over time the world began calling it unsinkable. But here's the truth. The Titanic was never officially advertised as completely unsinkable. It was described as extremely safe, but the legend grew bigger than reality. When Titanic launched, it was the largest moving object built by humans, over 880 feet long. Designed for luxury and speed, it carried millionaires, workers, immigrants, and crew members, all heading toward a new life in America. As Titanic sailed across the North Atlantic, something was happening quietly. Other ships were sending warnings. Ice ahead, large ice fields, dangerous waters. Titanic received multiple iceberg warnings that day, but the ship continued at high speed into the night. Here's an untold detail many people miss. Titanic wasn't racing another ship, but it was trying to arrive on schedule. In that era, speed meant reputation. Reputation meant money. Slowing down wasn't popular, and in the freezing darkness, that decision became deadly. The ocean was calm. Too calm. That sounds good, but it wasn't. Calm water meant fewer waves, and fewer waves meant less white foam breaking around icebergs. Ice was harder to spot. At 11:40 p.m., the warning finally came. Iceberg, right ahead! Titanic tried to turn, but a ship that size doesn't move like a car. The iceberg scraped the side, and below the surface, it tore open multiple compartments. Titanic had watertight compartments, a brilliant safety feature. But here's the terrifying truth. The walls between compartments didn't reach high enough. So as the ship tilted forward, water spilled from one compartment into the next, like ice trays overflowing. The ship wasn't built to survive that. Titanic carried over 2,200 people, but the lifeboats could hold only about half. That sounds impossible today, but back then, lifeboat rules were outdated. Titanic technically followed the law. The law was just wrong. The saddest part? Many lifeboats left the ship, not full. Some launched with dozens of empty seats. People didn't believe Titanic would sink. They thought it was safer to stay inside a warm ship than sit in a small boat in freezing darkness. Titanic had three classes. First class lived in luxury. Third class lived deeper inside the ship. And when panic started, location mattered. If you were far below deck, it took longer to reach the lifeboats, and time was running out. One of Titanic's most controversial rumors is this: third-class passengers were locked behind gates. Here's the real untold truth. Gates did exist, but mostly for immigration control and separation rules. In the chaos, some paths were confusing, delayed, or blocked, and many third-class passengers simply couldn't navigate the ship in time. Whether intentional or not, the result was devastating. As the ship sank, witnesses said the band continued playing music. Imagine that. A freezing night, screams in the distance, and music, trying to calm thousands of terrified people. It became one of the most haunting details of the Titanic story. For years, people argued about one detail. Did the Titanic break in half? Many survivors said yes. Others said no. The truth was confirmed decades later when the wreck was found. Titanic did break apart, and the ocean swallowed both halves. The water temperature was below 0 degrees Celsius. Most people didn't die from drowning. They died from hypothermia. In those conditions, your body shuts down fast. Minutes felt like hours, and the ocean didn't care who you were. Another untold detail: a ship called the Californian was nearby. Some believe it could have reached Titanic sooner, but communication failures, confusion, and missed signals meant help arrived too late. By the time rescue came, the sea was filled with silence. At 2:20 a.m., the Titanic disappeared beneath the Atlantic. Over 1,500 people were gone, and the world would never be the same again. Titanic wasn't just a tragedy, It became a warning to the entire world. Technology can fail, arrogance can blind, and nature always has the final word. And that's the real untold story behind the Titanic. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories.